Luxury shopping and the manners of clients. People have become very, very rude, but people who are shopping for luxury have also become much younger. Let's touch base on this topic for a second, shall we? Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Again, access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob, all spelled together there as well for extra perks. This video is being filmed live in front of my patrons and members. Tier 2, actually. They get pre-access to these topics, so consider joining and spending even more time together with me. So listen, the Wall Street Journal reported about a very interesting lady who's been working at Bergdorf Goodman for many, many years, since the 70s. And she's written 2 books already. Betty Hallbreich. Now, I don't know how to pronounce the surname, Betty. I'm sorry, my dear. Is it either Hallbreich or Hallbreich? Hallbreich? Either way. The lady started working in the 70s. So we're talking since 1976 at Bergdorf Goodman. Like we're talking, and so she's written books about, she's still apparently working. She's very scared of retiring. She says, you know what, she's very similar to Coco. Coco did not like to be lonely and alone at home. And she would always say, you know, this is why I want to spend time at the Ritz surrounded by other people, because 31 Rue Cambon terrifies me. I only see and feel ghosts around me. So Betty has this attitude. She says, you know, I'm always home alone when I'm at home, so I don't want to retire. I want to be surrounded by people. And she talks about how the luxury environment has changed from the 70s to today. And she says at the beginning, when she started working, you know, it wasn't that easy to just get into Bergdorf and be like, well, as she calls it now, I guess they have this abbreviation calling it BGs. You don't just enter BG and shop and, you know, ride on a bicycle, park your bike in front of the building and then go. Like, no, they wouldn't basically let you in. Like, you would have to be chauffeured around. You know, your chauffeur drives you to the entrance, then you're escorted out, then you enter Bergdorf, and then you go shopping. And like, there's this whole kind of elitist type of luxurious environment that was surrounding luxury, in particular when she began her career. But she says that times have changed a lot. And she says on one end, what is very fascinating now in luxury is that, oh, by the way, everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged. So everything's just my opinion, right? So I'm just paraphrasing here what the lovely lady said. But so she says that what she finds very fascinating, one, is that much younger people are shopping regularly in places like this for luxury stuff. But she is observing something very interesting. Now, she started as a sales associate, but back in the day, but she built up her position into like giving recommendations to customers, like in style, how to build your wardrobe. There's actually a whole, well, they say that Betty has helped a range of generations. Betty started very young working at Bergdorf Goodman, but she, as a sales associate, but then she kind of built up her way and her position in that place by developing a special sector for herself, which is called the store's Solutions Personal Shopping Department. And this happened in the late 70s. After that, she wrote 2 books. She basically helped a lot of people style their wardrobes, also how to behave in public while dressed in certain style codes and in certain trends. What she's shocked about is that nowadays, well, she calls them kids, but, you know, younger audiences, younger clients, being ready to shell out a lot of money on luxury. And one thing she's surprised about is that luxury costs way more in proportion to earnings than it used to in the past. So she says, you know, now you're like, you know, you're spending $2,000 on shoes that just like 10 years ago would have been $600. And bags. And so she says, you know, people are coming in, very young people are coming into Bergdorf, and they're dressed in just relatively cheap Zara or H&M denim jeans, or just simple plain white shirts. But the money that they're shelling out is all going to shoes and bags. How very Carrie Bradshaw. Although the original Sex and the City was more aimed towards just shoes. Bags were not really the thing until Samantha wanted her Birkin. But that wasn't about the obsession about bags. It was more about the Birkin itself. And yes, we do have a Los Angeles episode where Samantha found a guy who's selling Fendi baguettes, like fake ones, in his backyard. And then they, anyway, we digress. But it was more about the shoes, Sex and the City. Nowadays, it's shoes plus bags. And the prices have risen astronomically. So she's noticing that less and less people are interested in buying couture dresses or exceptionally expensive pret-a-porter dresses. The youth is focused on accessorizing, shoes and bags. And she's shocked that the youth doesn't really question the fact that these prices have gone up to a point where you could have bought a total look 10 years ago for the money that you now have to spend on one pair of shoes. And this coincidentally might be the reason why our habits of dressing up have changed as well. Because now we're spending the entire budget on a shoe and a bag. And so the clothes are purchased at Zara and H&M. Where in the past, that same amount of money could have been used to buy a full outfit, or at least like a pair of shoes and a jacket from the same brand. Now you have to choose either or. But she does say the kids are all right when it comes to manners. What is fascinating is that the manners, as she is reporting, have become terrible, but it's mostly people in their like late 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Usually 30s, 40s, and 50s. Super rude. She says the clients, for the most part, have lost total respect of sales associates. They just drop the clothes on the floor. They yell at sales associates. They show absolutely no respect. And she says, you can take anything away from me, but you don't take away my dignity. And she says it has become very, very, very rude. The behavioral patterns of clients. When she started, that was not the case. Now, she says that is the case. And it's similar. I can add another note to this. When we fly nowadays, I mean, even economy several decades ago was a luxurious event. Now flying, I mean, people would dress up to fly. Who's dressing up to fly now? Everybody's wearing their Lululemons or their Under Armour, or somebody who still has that shtick for Y2K era, their juicy couture. But like, you're flying in sweatpants, sneakers, and you just want to be as comfortable as you can because they're going to press you like sardines in your economy coach section. You know what I mean? And not everybody has the money to shell out $20,000, $30,000 for a first class ticket nowadays. First class didn't cost that much like it does today. So it's interesting how Betty describes this, but she does say the kids are all right. And here we quote her. She says, manners have changed. People of all ages treat salespeople terribly. It shocks me. They throw things around and walk away or come out of the dressing room stripping. Stripping. She says, I won't tolerate it. The only thing I have ever demanded is leave me with my dignity. Also interesting, she notes about the taking stuff back policy, the return policy. She says, when she started working there, Mr. Goodman was still alive, and he apparently did not accept any returns. He was very much all about choose wisely. Do you really want to buy this? Is this something that you really want? Because there's, you're not going to be able to return it. And so she still follows that principle today when she's working. And here again, another quote. She says, I tell clients, if you have feelings about it, don't buy it. And I like her honesty. I really, really, really appreciate this. Now, you could say that, yes, a lot of clients today have become very rude, but you could also kind of mirror that back to the sales associates, and because you could say, well, a lot of sales associates are under pressure by the brands and by the companies to sell at any cost. So how we've all been there. You go shopping and the sales associate, even you put something on and it looks terrible on you. And you know it looks bad on you, but the sales associate is going to look you straight in the face and lie to your face. And they're going to tell you, it looks amazing, girl. Like you lost a client when you lied to me. And I love that Betty is honest. And she still says, if you're not sure about this, don't buy it. This is how you build trust with your clients. This is how I start trusting a sales associate, when they are honest to me. And then there's another topic she touches base on, dupe. The dupe, there it is. The newest shopping problem is the sameness. Listen, Betty is so cool. She says designers had more influence when she started working. And then she mentions Giorgio Armani, Anne Klein, Jeffrey Bean, and she says they were individual. You could tell who designed what. Many designers are monkey see, monkey do nowadays. If one's making a great shirt, they all are making the same shirt. So then she talks about certain brands that there are exceptions, and she loves exceptions. But this is something that I've noticed as well. Corporations have killed the creativity in fashion. The second there are shareholders that want their stock and their share of the profits, the second that becomes the only motive for a fashion brand to exist, that's when creativity dies, because you got to play it safe if you want to keep earning that money. You got to make your basic choices and your basic products. Maria Grazia Curie, girl, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. You have made LVMH proud, girl, with your Dior sameness every season. Allegedly. But I have seen really copycats, one designer starts one trend and then all of them follow and they just kind of copy each other. And this is not just the designers themselves, but it's this whole attitude and approach to fashion that a lot of these big fashion houses hire trend analysts, fashion trend setters, fashion trend analysts, and some of these fashion brands hire the same people. And these people do their research, like what's going to, forecast, trend forecasts. The worst thing it's a killer for creativity. When you hire these heathens to come to your company and tell you, this is what's going to be going down, we'll go, 4 or 5 years from now. And they say the same shit to every company, and these fashion companies then believe that. You best believe they're going to go to their artistic directors and say, your hands are tied, Mr. Artistic Director. You have to do this in this colorway. That's the shape that's going to be popping, blah, 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 blah. So you're limited in your freedom more and more and more as time passes. So this is coincidentally one of the reasons why I prefer at this point from these major fashion houses to buy the classics. Call me the conservative Kreskin. We've come to that point where I feel like they are delusional when they try to deliver something new. I'm like, girl, it's obvious, like you're doing 10 collections a year now. You don't have the time to develop a proper new vision. You don't have the time. So you're just trying to churn stuff out and it's quickly done. And I see it because there's flaws in the design. There's flaws in the materials. So thank you very much for your seasonal pieces. I'm going to stick to your classics. And this is why you see me unboxing less pieces lately, because I have most of the classics already. So I just kind of buy the classics because they work. They've been, I've proven, I've tested, I've done the test run with all of them. Things that work, they still work today. So from these major houses that are also playing it very safe, I buy the classics. I don't experiment that much with them. And you can see how they try to push forward that agenda of like, they're making the classics harder to get because they want you to buy the ugly, trendy, fashionable, seasonal crap that they churn out. And they want you to build a relationship with the, store assistant, blah, blah, blah. And then like they offer you the more, exclusive pieces that are the heritage pieces. Because what piece do you, what's the exclusive piece you want? It's the classics. let's be honest here. Very rarely do we get FOMO for a seasonal piece when it comes to these major fashion brands. Now, the younger fashion labels and the smaller ones that maybe, don't invest huge money in creating new pieces, they're the ones that still have some creativity going on, more or less. You got to really know where to look. But Betty's really on point here when she says dupe. There it is. Head games. Betty also mentions a lot of clothes are bought because of a psychological situation. It's always been that way. Maybe the client has a fight with their boyfriend or husband, with their children, or the kids are sick. There's money problems. Shopping is a diversion. You don't need. Well, what you want is something else. And this is something I've been saying on my channel since 10 years now. There's always a difference between what you want and what you need. And a lot of people, and especially brand marketing, loves to confuse us and makes us believe that what we need and what we want is the same thing. But they're not. And then she also talks about the age of influence. Very fascinating. She says, my age is an asset. She could have already retired. She doesn't want to retire. But she says, my age is an asset. I utilize it to help people who won't be intimidated coming to an older woman. There will be women who come and say, she's too old. And that's okay. But my age creates a comfort zone. This job has given me a strength to help others. Very, very fascinating. So, but the most important element for me was the rudeness that she mentioned. And it's something that I've noticed everywhere. Literally, you go on the street, people are rude. People are pushing you in the supermarket. They're pushing you at the bakery. They're pushing you at the parking lot. They're pushing you on the street. They're pushing you in the boutique. They're pushing you in the waiting office if you're going to, to the doctor, to the vet. Wherever you go, it's just the rudeness has become insane. A lot of reasons contribute to this, overpopulation of major cities, the recession, economical problems, less and less people have money. Okay, sorry, more and more people have less money. So there's more and more poverty. And there's more and more unrest because of that. And then there's that 1% of billionaires that are kind of detaining all of the wealth. That's not going to end well, you guys. People become rude because that's kind of the next step towards retaliation. You know what I mean? Sure, the masses are first going to start butchering each other, but then at a certain point, whoever is left standing is going to realize, oh, hold on a minute. They made us all fight with each other when in reality, make two fight, the third one profits. Turn your gaze towards the ones who are profiting off of us. Stop fighting betwixt ourselves. We have to turn our eye of Sauron towards who the real culprits are. Don't be stupid. Wake up. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you liked this video. Thumb it up. Let me know your thoughts down below. And until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Subscribe.